Hello, Catamists, and welcome. Let's model this Extra 300 with surface tools in Onshape. I prepared a drawing for this so that we get a side view, then a front view of half that plane, top view, and an isometric view with some terms: propeller hub, fuselage, canopy, the vertical stabilizer, the horizontal stabilizer, the wing with its wingtip. So I will download the drawing to my GrabCAD profile and place a link to that in the description. Or you can just screenshot those from this page, from the video. So I will start my design with a sketch on the right plane, with a construction line here. No. Give that a dimension of 7,000 millimeters. And place my first image here, and that is that side image. Give that a coincident constraint here. And line that with an endpoint and here with the top of the propeller hub. Okay. I might place a construction line here just to indicate the bottom of that curve. That'll help me for my front image. And exit that, go to the next sketch on the top plane, again with a top image. Okay, I see that that is rotated, so I eliminate that constraint, place a coincident constraint here, and a vertical one here. Then compare these two views, and let's say that point here should align with that one here, so I'll move out a little. Okay, I'll leave it like that. And the next sketch on the front plane, again, that image front, coincident constraint. And now let's have a look at this line here, and make that coincident here. Okay, but it's too big, so I scaled that down about here. Let's see. Scale it down a little bit more. Move that up a little to to that line, really. Okay, there's the center of the hub here. So that's too big, right? So scale down again. Here, a bit more. Place that at the center here. And that is sufficient. I'll rename those sketches here. The first one was the side sketch, the second the top sketch, and the last one the front sketch. And I'll place those here in a folder, a view folder. Hide the last two. And start my sketch, my first sketch on the right plane with a construction line here. From here to there. Then I will draw a spline from that endpoint. Place one spline point here and one back there. Manipulate that handle here to about that position. Continue with the next spline from that endpoint to about here. Again, manipulate that to about here. Okay. Then one more spline for the canopy from here. Place one point here and the last one over there. Move that out. Yeah. And then just place one straight line right here. Maybe move that out just a tiny bit. Okay. And I will draw one construction line here where that canopy ends. And that's it for that very first sketch. I can change the sketch appearance here and call that my first side sketch. So now I will define one plane with a line angle with that line and a 90-degree angle here. And draw one now ellipse on this with the midpoint on the midpoint of that construction line. Then make those coincide with these endpoints here. And then let me help for the width of that ellipse with my front plane here. So that's going to go in to about here. Okay. I might draw one construction line here from that center outwards. There is a point on that ellipse, and then I will project that construction line here and cut off that part and make that again a construction line. Okay. So now I'll hide that front sketch and we'll define one more plane with that construction line here and the midpoint of that last line here. Okay, plane is defined, right? Edge of sketch 1, yeah, there it is. And now I'll make that top plane visible and draw a sketch on that plane, which will connect these profiles. So that'll be one spline from here to there. I'll go into perspective, hide planes. With a Shift G, I can pierce that endpoint on that line, move that handle outwards, and again, Shift G for this and that line. Here's that handle. Take a top view here and manipulate that. That one looks okay. That one could have some more curve here. And that's it for that spline. But I will just insert 2 points here, which will assist me to define the plane for the profile of the wings and the vertical stabilizer. All right, so now we get this vertex here, and I will use that with the plane point option and the front plane to define my next plane. And then I'll just continue defining with the midplane between that plane and plane number 1. There it is. And I will place a sketch on plane number 4. Again, spline here somewhere. And first I will pierce those to that top curve and that bottom curve. Give those here horizontal constraints. And then one more pierce between that line and that one. Okay. And let's have another look at the front view. Let's manipulate that a little more. So I'll place one spline point about here. Move that in. And it's about here. Okay. So we got this sketch, this one, and now let's continue with that one. So a sketch on that plane, and that same technique, spline, oops, what a spline between here and there, pierce at the top, pierce at the bottom, horizontal constrained, and pierce between that curve and that curve. Look at that from the front. Compare with that sketch. And again, maybe I want to place a spline point here. And move that out. Something like that. Next, I will mirror feature, and that is that plane over that one. And on that plane here, I will draw one more spline here. Piercing that to that spline and to this one. Here, here, and here. All right. So I will hide my reference images here. I'll hide all planes. I can hide that mirror. And now it's time for that first loft. So I go into the command, surface loft, and first I'll pick those profiles, that one, this one, that one, and I will take that line here. And then I go to the guides and continuity menu and pick that bottom spline, then that top view spline, and that last one. All right, so we get that first surface. I will change the appearance, give that some nice green. Now I will add a little detail to that engine cover here. First, I'll look for that plane. It's plane number 1. And that'll be an arc. So I'll pick that center point here, and just so to give you one dimension here. 129, maybe a bit too much. I'll give that an 88 value. There's a vertical constraint between those points here. Okay. And I want to continue with the ruled surface of that edge. Pull that out. And just so to change the length of that, I will work with the angle option in the command. Maybe give that a 4-degree angle. Pull that all the way through here. And then go to the mutual trim. Take that first surface and that second, and just play around with those arrows. Once you're satisfied with the result, you click OK. I won't merge those now. Okay, that is the second surface. That is what I want. Yeah. Let's define the propeller hub with a sketch on the right plane. Draw a construction line connecting these two vertices. And then let's have a look at that side image and draw one 3-point arc, something like this. Another construction line from that midpoint here to that endpoint here. Give that a horizontal constraint and go into the rotate surface around that axis. All right. Now let's work on the canopy. For this, I start with a sketch on the right plane. Normal view to that. Start with a straight line from that vertex here. Go to over there, somewhere here. Make that sketch S visible again. Give that a coincident constraint with that vertex. And go into the split face command. And let's split that face with those two sketch lines. Then delete this face here. And now let's make a loft between that profile with a normal to profile condition and that one here as a new body. And with the end profile match tangent of that face here, and then guides, take that one. All right, there's a nice white color to that. And now I will just define a plane, line angle, take that one here, give that 90 degrees. Again, split that part with that plane. Continue with the Boolean of that surface and that one. Okay. Let's continue with the vertical stabilizer. So I'll start with a sketch again on the right plane. Draw a line from that midpoint up here to there. And there. Return to that origin. Okay. Then define a plane by that line like this, and another with that top line. Now start with a sketch on that bottom plane, maybe go into the top view, or first let's start with a spline command here. Maybe I'll hide all surfaces for a moment and go to Shift G here. Take that edge, take that edge, pull those out. Okay, they need to be with a horizontal constraint. And now, just as a reference, I will have a look at the top view here and scale that down here. Something like this. Okay. And continue with that top profile. So that is this plane, spline, here, Shift G, here, again, horizontal, so this is small, all here, like this. And now we can hide planes. And we can loft between that profile and that bottom one. And, well, we don't need those guides really, huh? Here. But I'll keep them and show all surfaces. Hide all planes. So there's a hole here. So maybe we want to fix that by increasing that top sketch. Where was that? Here, no. Here, sketch number 2. Edit that. Look at the top image. So I will place a spline point here and change the value of that spline handle. Like this. And let's see. Hide all sketches. Go to mutual trim. Take that one and that one. Yeah. And now let's work on that wing. For this again, hide all sketches. Have a look at that side view. Start a sketch on the right plane. Normal view to that. And catch that profile here. From here to there. With the vertical constraint. Okay. Fix that vertex. Going out like that. Lower. Didn't I fix it here? Fix. Yeah. Then horizontal line. Mirror that. Here. Okay. And then we had placed that point on that top sketch. That one. I'll rename that top sketch. Look at that. There's this point. So it's a plane point, that point, and that right plane. And then a sketch on that one. Normal view to that. Spline. So that goes from here to over there. Fix that. Construction line here. Horizontal. Vertical. Spline handle on that side of it. Lower this. Mirror over that line. And now the loft between sketch number 12 and sketch number 2, a new surface body. Yeah. So let's do that one more time for the horizontal stabilizer. So a sketch on the right plane. Here. Spline from here. Over there. Construction line. Go to that side. Lower that. Vertical. Mirror with that one. Okay. Then again, there is this point for our plane definition with the right plane and a sketch on that plane. Spline here, here. Place that on the line here. We can project that curve, make that coincide, vertical, lower that here, like this, mirror over that one, then go into the loft of sketch 13 to 14. Now, what's the problem? 13 and 14. Here. So this line got to coincide with that vertex. There it is. Let's show all surfaces so far. Let's have a look from the inside. Find all sketches. Go to the mutual trim. Take that one and that one. Like this, huh? Yeah. And is that okay? That's still a separate surface. So go to Boolean. Take that one and that one. Then mutual trim of that surface and that one. No. I want that side. Yep. All right. So I know planes. And with the fill command, we can close those wingtips. And then mirror all faces here. When to select, deselect the propeller hub since I did a 360 revolve. Mirror the right side here. And one last fill up here. All right, so we've successfully modeled Extra 300 with Onshape.